Hey, what's poppin', partner? You good? Me too. Day 6. Let's go. You know what the deal is? Emerging. I like that. And I was looking at the Chinese character over there. I think it looks pretty cool. It doesn't look Chinese, but it is. Alright, so the poem goes: thunder and rain at night. Growth comes with a shock. Expression and duration appear in the first moment. Thunder and rain at night. I like the first part, thunder and rain at night, growth comes with a shock. The second part I'm still trying to digest. Expression and duration appear in the first moment. Okay, so that's the first poem. Things cannot remain in stillness forever. The stillness we were talking about yesterday. And this is actually like it's such a deep statement. Things cannot remain in stillness forever. The very nature of stillness is like it's alive with its own sense of self. Okay, now if you look at like quantum mechanics, you know, and stuff like and things like that, they call it like the quantum form. Like even in a vacuum, there are little particles going in and out of existence at all times. But when like you're meditating deeply and you become aware of the void or the emptiness, the crystal clear emptiness, it's not empty like we would imagine empty space to be, even though empty space isn't very empty. It has like a sort of dynamic uh, flavor or personality or something. Not a personality, but it has an existence ness to it. Yeah. And so when it says things cannot remain in stillness forever, stillness itself by its own nature um, has the urge to create something in it, as I've experienced it, um, and as others have. All right. Winter storms may destroy some things, but they also prepare the way for life. And that's referring to the second sentence of the poem. You know, growth comes with a shock. You know, sometimes you have to go through really difficult uh, periods in your life in order to bloom to a new degree. Okay. And you wouldn't be able to do that if you didn't go through the difficult transformation before that. That's something I struggle with all the time. Of course, I have this tendency to like cling on to my older identity, or just like uh, I have a hard time letting go of a certain mental state. Okay, whether it's like a blissful one or it's like a difficult one coming and shifting things. I have a hard time adjusting to change. And it's something I'm working on. If things are swept away, it is appropriate. Okay? There must be an opportunity for new things to emerge and begin their own cycle. The endless cycle. Okay. All growth comes with a shock. Yeah, it's difficult. It to go from what you were into a new thing. I wonder, just thinking out loud, like, do like caterpillars experience like a sense of trauma when they're undergoing metamorphosis and turning into flying, majestic creatures? It must be difficult for them to go into the cocoon and even emerging from that cocoon. When a sprout breaks its casing and forces its way to the surface of the earth, is the climax to a long and deep accumulation of life force. Yeah. When we're doing embryonic breathing, cultivating chi in the lower dantian and all that, you will spend as I have, and as most of everyone who does this, will you'll spend a long time just observing what may be nothing or like very little activity. And it's very hard to gauge, am I actually doing something? Like there are days where I think like I feel actually weaker than I was previously. But it is actually, you are doing something. I know that for myself, from my own experiences with my cultivation. It takes time. And eventually you build up enough energy for it to, yeah, take a life of its own, or for it to break through areas of your body that had previously been pretty much blocked, inaccessible to you. The accumulation of life force being chi in this case. We may think that it came up suddenly, but in actuality, it emerged as the product of unseen and subtle cycles. Oh, yes. Yeah. Uh, deep states of awareness don't just spring up, or very rarely just spring up on their own. Usually it's part of like a long developmental cycle. And I know it sounds like I'm being redundant, but there are cases like of people who experienced traumatic head injuries and became like savants, or there are even cases of people developing like ESP from head injury. Now, of course, don't go knocking your head expecting that like you'll gain anything out of it. But even those cases where it seems like they just miraculously developed superhuman abilities, um, you don't know what their karmic history is all about. Who knows? Maybe they had meditated previously in a different cycle and never reached the state that they wanted. And this is like the fruition of that cycle. There are many reasons why certain things happen and people grow in different ways. And sometimes environmental, social circumstances, economic circumstances, yeah, it's all part of it's part of the growth cycle, I think, even when it's not evident. When the seedling appears, it carries with it the complete pattern for its growth. Huh, I like that. Perhaps even the makings of an enormous tree. That sort of imagery is like really popular in Taoism, like a tiny seed giving birth to a massive tree over time. And that seed has everything in its DNA, as science has come to find out, has a blueprint for everything that enormous tree can and ever will be in that tiny little seed. Isn't that interesting? And I wonder how, and I know, like, of course, this has a lot to do with Taoism and cultivating the immortal fetus. I wonder if, like, the immortal seed, when it first goes down into like your lower dantian or wherever you fuse it, does it know, or is there like some sort of mechanism that dictates exactly how it will grow, how the various um, meridians in your body will change to adapt for its growth cycles, or there's so much like we really don't know about the subtle body and how it develops, And there hasn't been like a serious scientific inquiry on it because it's all still like caught up in like mysticism. Not in a bad way. Mysticism itself is not bad. Just I would really like to know some of the more intricate aspects of cultivation. All right. Although time and the right conditions are necessary, neither of those factors add anything to the inherent nature of the seedling. It completely embodies its destiny. Therefore, the growth and character of the plant and its very life are all present at the moment of emerging. That goes back to the very first page, kinda, doesn't it? In the beginning, you know, in the beginning, we're helpful, we prepare ourselves to start anew, and though the journey ahead, although we are focusing on the journey ahead, everything that we really want is right here and now within us. You know, our joy, our optimism, and our faith. It ties directly back to the very first page. And I think that's very important because it's sort of, this page is, to me, is like telling us, you know, keep faith, keep going, even though you don't feel like anything is happening, things are happening, right? And it's just a matter of time, all right? Even if you don't personally see the result of your work, your entire life, let's say you go your entire life and you don't see anything, all right? That doesn't mean your effort was in vain. I hope that makes sense. And I very greatly appreciate this page today. Um, I feel like my third eye has calmed down a lot, by the way, and that's really good. But I would sometimes, it's sort of like bittersweet because now it's more like, am I missing something? Is there something in my practice I should be doing to keep pushing it? Maybe, maybe not though. You know, it's going how it's supposed to go. So that was emerging. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope your cultivation is going well. And I'll see you tomorrow. Feel free to ask me any questions. Take care.